So today was a bit of a rough day for really both my projects. Welcome back to my channel. This is Joe Ketchapalia, talks about building or trying to build shipping container homes and a tiny home and whatever else I get to building. Um, yeah, so today was supposed to be the day that our ground screws finally went into the ground. Um, I say supposed to be because this picture here, this is the extent of where we got to by the time I left the site today. I was told late this evening that this screw is another couple feet into the ground. We were supposed to put them all in one day. So that was not what I had expected. I'm just going to give you a little view of our setup that we have here. This is the screw. We got our little. I'm going to give you a zoom in on this shot. So this was interesting. This is an auger attachment up above here, and so today I realized my builder, they've been doing a great job of saving me money, but I think this is an example of when they tried to go too far. These ground screws are sort of a specialty product, and trying to put them in ourselves, although I think we're going to get them done, I think it's actually going to end up costing more than if we had hired the specialty sub uh, to come out and do it. The guy from the ground screw company was out here with us. He seemed extremely knowledgeable. Talking to him about his other projects, it seems like it would have been a no-brainer to just hire him. It's probably something I should have asked more questions about up front. I should have learned by now to really question a lot more things moving forward on this project, because there's been just a whole bunch of times where things haven't gone quite as I had hoped, and this is one of them. I think probably this might even be more expensive for us to do a worse job, but at the very least, we're not saving very much money. But so this part here is something we actually had fabricated uh, to go from the auger attachment to our screws. And this is working actually. This isn't the problem. I'll show you what was. I'm trying to just give you a little close up of that. This only cost a couple $100, and it's something that if we do ground screws a lot on our own, it was a no-brainer for us to go and get that piece made instead of trying to buy a piece. Oh, what happened there? Let's see. Okay. Yep. And as promised, I'm not editing these, so sorry about that. Um, so this part here, I think, went bad. We're renting this equipment. They gave us this one that is supposed to be good for 4,000. I think they're talking about foot-pounds of torque, but I'm not really sure. And we only need about 2,200 uh, for the screws, or 1,800 to 2,200 to be pretty happy with the foundation. But for some reason, this couldn't screw into the ground at all. Um, and I was talking to the guy from the screw company, and he was saying, they screw into, if they do into solid rock, then they'll drill first, but otherwise they'll screw into just about anything with their setup. And so this is something, we were making this, trying to make this auger attachment work with this, where we could have just rented this additional specialized piece of equipment that actually would have measured the torque of each one also, and I think that would have been smart to do. I think we saved a few bucks, but it cost us, well, at least one whole day, and we'll see. Um, we did by the end of the day get a new one of those. I don't even know. I should know what it's called, right? Because I'm sure I had the invoice and I paid for it, but a new one of these by the end of the day. Well, actually, they reset this one, so this was working, but slowly, and they're going to bring us a new one in the morning. The good thing, the equipment rental company agreed to comp today, so we're not paying for today. That's nice. I still had several workers out there that basically they didn't actually sit around all day. We did some other clearing and stuff like that, so that was good. I mean, they didn't just purely waste a day, but it certainly didn't go as we had hoped. But yeah, so we're gonna have a new one of these out there. It's supposed to be there at 8 in the morning, and hopefully it actually works out. I also just wanted to do a quick walk around and show you where the stakes are, because we had the engineer come back out and stake out the envelope, and so over here there's going to be the two containers, and then basically where I'm standing is the end of two, and then this and this is like, so these are two together over here, and then there's a gap, and then there's two together over here. You can't see the other stake for this other two. And then somewhere around here, I think we are going to have to cut maybe both of these trees down. I'm not sure. We're really trying to cut as few down as possible, but this ended up being a pretty big footprint for a 1,250 square foot home, and it's because we have that gap. There are a few trees, and those are the ones making this shade that we're going to keep that are going to be in that gap. But I think these two still have to go, and there'll be like the bridge that goes in between the two sets of two containers. You can see this lot looks a whole bunch different from when we first, the first pictures of it I showed you. I think that might have been my very first video, was, video of that lot. Keep forgetting to tell you early, I should put this earlier in my thing so I remember, but please like and subscribe and comment. You have the opportunity to be the 40th subscriber if you subscribe right now. So that is exciting. That's 4% of the way to 1,000, right? Or even better, 40% of the way to 100. So getting, really, really creeping up on some of those milestones. Gonna leave you with this picture. That was a little bit sad, right? We didn't even get all the way into the threads, which was shocking. I mentioned that both of my projects had some issues. So I've been working on that tiny home, trying to get the plans for it, right? We have that other very small lot. Finally today, I just told the architect that had been working on it that I just don't think it makes sense for us to continue to work together. I hired him back in December, and so far have gotten a draft of the plans and a redraft. And then we had agreed, okay, this is going to be the floor plan. Let's get those construction drawings. And he had initially told me 2 weeks, and then it was another week, and then it was another week. And I think it's 7 weeks late at this point. And I know that we had, some harsh weather 2 weeks ago now, and that was one of the things that pushed things back. But I mean, it just hasn't even been close to on time. And every time he tells me, it'll be Wednesday, or the last time I even heard from him was last Thursday, and he said it'd be done on Friday. I haven't seen anything. So back in the market for an architect for my tiny home for that other lot. If anyone has a recommendation, somebody who they've used and liked and does either, I'm thinking, I don't even know if I'm going to try to go with the same plan, or if I'm going to even try to do something even simpler. I've reached out to the architect that did my first property and see if he has any single container ones. I think that's a good option. When I say the first one, I mean this one here that we're doing the ground screws on. I know he's had several different container projects, and I think at one time he mentioned it, so that's why. But so that's something I'm thinking of. But definitely, if you know anybody who's an architect in San Antonio that actually isn't interested in working on a tiny home, or maybe a not quite tiny home, maybe it'll be 500 or 600 square feet, anything in between, something that's actually a permanent structure though. I know there's some of these container builders that are actually just building containers that aren't up to code, and they're just meant to sort of sit there, and that's not what I'm trying to do in that spot. But I'd love to hear about it. Also, yeah, I'm curious to hear what people think about if it makes sense. So, you know what? I'm not even. I think that so this is the latest in the day that I've recorded a video. I was hesitant to even put this up because sometimes I do feel like I'm whining about how this project is going. So far, we're still not really over our budget. We're just way past our time. Um, but I told you, early on that this is so you can see the mistakes that I'm making just as much as so you can see the stuff that we're doing right. I think this is a good example of where we got a little too cheap, and something like a new and innovative foundation plan, something that's a little bit different than what anybody is used to doing. I think what really would have made sense to pay the professionals to do it this time, and then we figured out what they did, and then on the next ones, if we want to start doing stuff like this ourselves. But I actually sat down with my contractor today, and we talked about, it's so much for us to rent the not right equipment, um, that it almost just makes sense to just hire the people that are providing the screws to just do the whole thing, to install them. Um, it'll certainly be faster, less hassle, and it won't be a significant increase in price, based on what I heard from him today. Uh, in any case, please like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, I will keep making mistakes so you don't have to.